perspective?
Yeah, turnovers and fouls. I can just repeat it every game if you want. I mean, it's turnovers and fouls. That's what it comes down to. So, the fact is, we're playing one of the best teams in the league on their floor. We're good enough. We're good enough to win a championship. I believe that. This team. But if we're going to just turn it over and throw the ball to the other team and foul over and over, then we're going to lose. We know the formula. We just controlled that whole game on the road against a great team. That's our game. So, turnovers and fouls.
29 is like almost kind of an obscene number.
Yeah, obscene is the right word. Yeah, it's an obscene number of turnovers, yeah.
Which are the ones that you just like, I mean, I assume, you want all 29 back, but which one are the ones that you just can't have?
You want me to go through them?
Particularly if there's any in overtime or the fourth that you can think of.
We will watch all 29, I can tell you that, as a team. We're going to watch all 29 turnovers because it's a decision-making game, Basketball is all about decision-making, and there's probably some where, it's, random. Maybe it's an illegal screen. We got a couple of those, and we'll see, what the calls were like on those. Maybe they were good calls, maybe they were. I don't know, but I don't mind illegal screens so much. But passing is a crucial aspect of this game, and you've got to be able to make solid passes and solid decisions. So I know we had a ton of bad passes. I can tell you that.
In your mind, generally speaking, are a lot of those turnovers rooted in carelessness or trying too hard? What did you see?
Well, I mean, I give them credit. They're one of the leading teams in the league in terms of forcing turnovers and creating transition off of turnovers. And in a lot of ways, it was, the game was our offensive rebounding against, their ability to force turnovers. And that's why the possessions actually ended up about the same. We'll watch the tape, but there were just over and over again, there were just decisions that we would like to have back.
The foul up 3 late kind of turned into the nightmare scenario for you guys. What was kind of, I guess, the instruction going in? What did you think of it?
Well, we're a foul team. We believe in fouling up 3, but you always have to be careful. Can't foul on shot. You got to foul on catch. And Dre tried to make a play, and it looked like he was there. I thought he was going to get the steal, and I think his instinct was just to grab him before he got the shot. But Chet obviously went straight up with his shot. I still thought we might win the challenge. That's why I took the timeout. We had a game in Miami about 5 or 6 years ago where Kevin Durant got fouled and it was overturned. It was a very similar play. So I thought we had a shot to win the challenge and make it a 2-point shot. But obviously we didn't, and he stepped up and made the 3 free throws. And tough way to lose.
Did this game kind of feel like the Sacramento game?
It feels like the Sacramento game, feels like the Clipper game, feels like the last OKC game. So it's up to us. I mean, it's a pattern right now. And I watched this same group win a championship a year and a half ago. They're champions, but they're not playing like it. And I'm not coaching like it. And we've got to figure this out. We know the formula. I've got to do a better job of, getting them to execute. But fouls and turnovers. That's it. Fouls and turnovers.
Steve, this Thunder team is much better than most everyone, even around here, expected. For as young as they are, kind of now in the next stage of the rebuild, having played them 4 times already this season, what kind of stands out about them and what they're building?
This is not surprising me at all. We've seen this come in the last year or so. Sam has drafted incredibly well. They've nailed picks, and then Mark is a great coach. They've got a guy in Shai who is impossible to guard, and they've really built a good roster around him, and so they're a hell of a team. Thanks.
Got to win games, so just got to figure it out.
What makes you confident that you guys can turn it around? Like, what specifically about this team?
I think we got all the pieces that we need in order to win. You look at some of these games we're losing. Just got to tighten up, tighten up in the margins. But, we know what it takes to win a championship, and I feel like we got all of those things. So.
Season's only like 22 games old, but do you feel some urgency?
I don't feel the urgency that we need to have, and that's on me. I'll be better at that, with that, making sure guys have the urgency that they need, but it hasn't been there. And you can't claim to lead in that department when it's going well and not lead when it's not going well. So I take that one on the chin. I got to make sure this team play with a better sense of urgency, and I will.
Why do you think that's been hard?
I don't know. There could be a ton of reasons, but one thing's for certain is no other team in the NBA is not dealing with some of the same things that we deal with. So you got to be mentally strong enough to figure it out. And those that do win, and those that don't lose, they lose close games. It's very fragile when you don't do that. And so it's got to be better.
Did this game feel like the Sacramento game, or did it feel like any of these other?
No. Each game is different. Each game presents its own challenges. You got to take it game by game and figure out what you need to do to win that particular game.
They probably are going to ask you about the turnovers, but 29. What are the like? You guys are going to have turnovers over the course of the game, but which is the ones that's like?
It's just the careless ones, right? You don't want to turn the ball over, leading the fast break points. They got 35 points off those turnovers, and we knew that coming into the game. They lead the league in points off turnovers, and we didn't do a good job of that. I think, the fact that we had 29 turnovers and still had a chance to win the game is nuts. But, it shows that if we can clean that area up, how good this team can be, and I'm confident that we will clean it up.
Draymond, obviously the Thunder over the last few years has been rebuilding. You guys have played a lot of competitive games with them this year. All 4 of them were super close. What have you sort of noticed about this OKC team as they sort of become relevant now?
Oh, well, they got a gray head of the snake in Shai. His first team All-NBA last year for a reason. Chet is will possibly be a generational player, and so you look at adding him to the lineup. And then Jalen Williams, guard Jalen Williams, is one of the most impressive players with the ball in the NBA. He can shoot the ball from 3, mid-range, get to the rim. He's 6'8", he got size, he has strength. He can pass the ball. And so they present their challenges. And, comes down to a lot of times you have to sit down and guard one-on-one. But yet, you still got to keep your shell tight. And I don't think we did much of a good job of that.
What was your diagnosis on the Chet play to end regulation on the foul?
I thought, something that we've been talking about a lot, fouling while we're up 3, and so I was very hypersensitive to it. Like, I got to foul. You don't want to be the guy to get that 3 up. I personally thought that I got him before he started his upward motion. But I saw the replay too, and it's close as hell. And, regardless of if I did or didn't, if it's close, they're going to go with the call on the floor. The call on the floor is 3 shots. So I got to be better there. He's facing the rim. I can't foul there. I think, I jumped for the ball thinking I could get the steal, and it went a little over my head. On that, I just need to stay down and not get the steal, knowing I'm fouling him as soon as he starts catching the ball. So I that off. It's a mistake that a young guy should make, not someone in their 12th year. So.
Kind of leads me into the next question, which is like, you guys are obviously 4-time champs, have closed in every type of playoff situation, but lately, the last 3 road games, as an example, like it's mistakes late. What's going on?
I think those mistakes late. Mistakes happen at every point in the game. I don't so much look at the mistakes late and say that's why we lost the game, because how did we get in that position? You look at all these games we're losing, we're in total control. And so I worry more about how are we getting to that space, not the plays down the stretch. The plays down the stretches usually comes from the things that you give up leading up to that. Now, like I said, I that off and fouled him on a 3 with whatever it was, but it's what we're doing leading up to these situations that's even putting ourselves in the position that we're in.
Are you talking in a positive way of you got up that much, or in a negative way of like you turned it over this many times you let it back?
Both. Both. Can't turn the ball over that many times, can't foul that many times yet. We are doing a good job of building a lead. What do you have to do to sustain it? I think that's what we got to figure out.
Steve said it's still like this is still a championship group, but I can echo it to me. I assume your belief remains that, but like, you know, is this you're 10 and 12, but it seems to be internally you guys still think this.
Of course. You know, we tricked off 4 games, like legitimately. All of a sudden, you don't trick those games off. You're 12 and 8, and everybody's like, oh man, you're sitting there in what, 2nd place or 3rd place, and everybody's great, right? So, like I said, it's a game of margins, and you got to win in the margins, and we haven't done a good job of that. But if we do, which I think we can and will, then you put yourself back in contention. But 22 games in, I don't think anyone's throwing in the towel.